Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Steven Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast, ruining pro wrestling podcasting since 2014. On today's episode, we'll be talking about this week's Monday Night Raw. We've got a huge return, which I know you're extremely excited about, Larson. We also have sad news in the world of Liv Morgan. She separated her shoulder during the very first sequence of moves in the Kairi Sane match, which is really sad. So we're going to talk about that.
The first move in the whole match, yeah.
And what's going on with King of the Ring. Where would you like to start today, Larson?
Well, I suppose we could start with Bill Goldberg.
So,
long rumored, long speculated upon, especially after WWE scheduled that Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, Georgia on July 12th.
Yep.
That Bill Goldberg was going to have his retirement match there, or at least a match, to start off the retirement tour. And sure enough, on last night's Raw, Bill comes out to interrupt Gunther during a promo and is like, hey, Gunther, good work. I'm here to celebrate you, but it's coming to an end July 12th. I'm coming for that World Heavyweight Championship. You're next.
Yeah. So, I know when I saw this going down, I knew you were very excited about this. You know, watching Bill waddle down the ramp, you know, barely make his way up to that second rope to celebrate with the crowd when it was all said and done. Gassed just by walking through dipping through the ropes there.
Well, he said he's hurt himself training for this match.
He's exceedingly old.
He is old. He it looked like he was walking with a little bit of a limp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you said, waddling down to the ring. If this match is any longer than 5 minutes, they're really pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
I think. And there's really no way that it in any sort of logical sense that Gunther should lose.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I'm really confident that Gunther's going to win.
Really? I have all confidence.
It's Goldberg. I don't know. I thought the Fiend would beat him. It didn't happen.
Me too. And that'd have been great. But that is kind of the outlier, isn't it? Like, didn't Bobby Lashley beat him?
Yeah.
Goldberg's fine getting beat by dudes that are like...
They could do something like this. They could do a really hard-hitting 3.5 to 5 minute match between them. Goldberg wins, Seth cashes in. You know, they could do something like that.
Goldberg beats Gunther?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
But listen. Here, I know what's going on here. You freaked out. Gunther's your boy. He's your guy. Goldberg shows up. Bill Goldberg shows up. And you're like, hell, here we go again with this guy. I'll put your mind at ease. Bill's not going to beat Gunther. There will be a sequence where he'll get off a couple of spears. He's not even going to try a jackhammer, or as they call it these days, a standard suplex, because that's kind of what it is now.
That's what it is this juncture for Bill, yeah.
And Gunther will probably pass him out. He's not going to give him a power bomb. Bill's not going to take a power bomb, but he'll choke him out. He'll do the, he'll Hulk out of it for a bit, and then he'll get back into it, similar to Jay. And then that'll be it. I mean, maybe Seth will cash in, but I kind of feel like instead of a cash-in attempt, I feel like they're just going to do the thing where Goldberg says goodbye. They've got 3 weeks for this thing to sort of like do something with it. So I'm kind of assuming that they're going to use that time for Gunther to respond and say, the only way I will take this match is if you put your career on the line. And then he does, and then Gunther beats him, and then they give him a really good send-off. It allows the Atlanta crowd there to send Bill on his way. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they could do this. Seth does try to cash in. He eats a bunch of spears from Goldberg. I respect you, Gunther, for beating me and doing this, so I'm going to help you out by spearing Seth Rollins, and that makes Goldberg looks like $1 million for the Atlanta crowd.
What about this?
Hey, look at me. I just booked it. Good job.
You did. How about this? Let's try this one.
Yeah.
where something like that scenario happens, but the match in Atlanta is not Bill's last match.
Oh, yeah.
It's his penultimate match, second to last. And then because he feels like Seth either during the match or afterwards. Anyways, Bill challenges Seth to a match. And Seth says, I'll only accept it if you put your career on the line here.
Yeah.
Because, Seth's all about the future of the business.
Yeah.
And Seth beats Goldberg.
That's a possibility as well. I could see that maybe being the case.
Maybe a SummerSlam.
Ooh, Seth, they're going to waste a Seth match SummerSlam on Goldberg. I mean, it is a mark. Look, Goldberg is still a marquee name.
Yeah.
He's still a marquee name. And God bless him. If I was in that shape now, I'd be super happy. I feel like our knees are probably on similar ground. But in terms of
you don't walk with a bit of a limp, Steve.
It's not the knees, it's the haglins. I do kind of waddle around the house.
Yeah.
It's the weird thing about what I got going on is that like an old jalopy, right? When I get going on a good quick pace when I walk, I'm fine. when I'm
slowing down, that's the problem.
Kind of, yeah. But anyways, people don't want to hear about my old man issues. So yeah, dude, I think I was when I was watching the main event and looking at names like Rusev and Bronson Reed and even Braun Breaker out there. I see so many other people that should be taking this slot against Gunther because Gunther's first title reign was kind of light in terms of like quality opponents. But like, I don't know, you toss a Bronson Reed out there to try to, if Seth is like, hey, I might cash in on you. And to do so, I'm going to use my stroke and Heyman's stroke to get Bronson Reed a match. And maybe they'll still do that down the line. But when I see just how loaded the roster is, I don't know. I kind of feel like this Gunther stuff can be used on somebody more quality. That being said, for a guy like Gunther, he probably was like, I don't know, 10 years old when Goldberg was at his peak. I don't know when Gunther was born. Probably around late 80s, early 90s.
I think
probably.
He's in his mid-30s. So.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. And so I feel like this probably, much like Big E, really wanted that match against Goldberg. And I'm like, hey, good on you if you get it. If Gunther feels the same way, you got to think that he's thinking to himself, you know what, man, I got this world title. Triple H really likes me, and he's giving me a marquee match. It's going to main event that Saturday night's main event. That world title is going to main event that match. So, yeah, I'm not super anti, but the roster is too loaded to for them to be like, oh, we're out of people. Let's bring in Goldberg.
Yeah, I know. It seems like they're doing this more so for Goldberg as opposed to, as you said, Goldberg still has some marquee value to his name.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yeah, there's full-time roster members that could benefit more from a Gunther feud. There's potential opponents that Gunther could benefit potentially more from at this juncture. It's not 1998 anymore.
It'll sell tickets, though. I think that's sort of the bottom line here. Yeah. His name in Atlanta will sell a ton of tickets, and they'll sell out.
And they're, like I said, they're doing this, I think, partially for that, also for Goldberg, giving him the opportunity to have a retirement match,
which I think his career warrants it. Like he did have a hell of a run. He was the biggest thing. At least, or he was one of the biggest things in 19. There was a couple of big things in 1998 going on, but certainly his name was really high up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, it's still crazy. They did 60,000 at the Georgia Dome on a Nitro.
I know.
They didn't do that at pay-per-view. Oh man, we really need to win some ratings here. Let's do this at a Nitro. So yeah, you know what I will say though? The Rat Fink inspired shirt, A+.
Oh, you did like that, huh?
It's a badass. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
When I saw that last night, I started my old noggin. I'm going to do a Steven Larson variant on that.
That's a good idea.
Are we
going to start
Steven
busting
Larson.
out shirts inspired by like the No Fear line? Perhaps Big Johnson. Remember those shirts?
Now you're speaking to me. The Big Johnson line. Didn't Spuds McKenzie? Didn't he have his own line of shirts too?
He had some shirts. Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah. What a successful campaign for.
Wow,
Budweiser.
we're so well versed in early to mid '90s fashion, aren't we?
We really are. LA Night. Wait. Yeah, it was called LA Nights, wasn't it?
LA Nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It was LA Gear.
LA Gear.
British Knights.
British Knights. That's right. That was the joke when he showed up. He named himself after two 90s shoe brands.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, what were the shoes Dom was wearing?
Oh, those were the Travis Scott.
They're Travis Scott's, right? Because it has the backwards Nike logo.
Yeah, they're
those
Travis
look
Scott.
Really cool. I like
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Like a Volt and an off-white. That was neat.
And a brown. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Liv Morgan really quick.
Yeah.
We mentioned this earlier. She had a match against Kairi Sane, obviously stemming from the feud that she sort of has going on right now. They hyped up. She had a really good promo to start the show. You know, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Liv Morgan, and especially with Dominic Mysterio, have really come into their own as fully fleshed characters. They go out there and they've just got it, and the crowd responds to everything they say. And they're in that great spot where they'll be cheered for the good work, but still be booed because people buy into them being bad guys.
Yeah.
That's a great place to be. And Liv has really put in the work to get herself there, and Creative has put in the work as well. And so in the opening moments of the match against Kairi Sane, just a regular ass like front bump. Like she, went up and she landed, I think seemingly properly on, like her forearms and her palms.
Forearm and the elbows. It just seemed like when her right arm landed, it was at a somewhat awkward angle, and so when the arm landed, kind of jammed the shoulder back.
Yeah.
And seemingly dislocated her shoulder. That was kind of what they were saying on Raw. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. Won't keep her out of action for very long. The seemingly like she's going to have a match against Nikki Bella at Evolution. That's a huge match. And hopefully, whatever injury she suffered last night won't keep her out of that match. 'Cause I'm sure that's something that she's probably really looking forward to.
So to your recollection, a dislocated shoulder can be kind of all over the map when it comes to
I think it depends
time.
if there's any soft tissue damage that accompanies it. If the shoulder just pops out of socket and they can get it back in and there's no damage to like the rotator cuff or tendons and ligaments in the shoulder.
Yeah.
I think the recuperation period is pretty short.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's been any update here on the old Twitter or not. So yeah, that's a really sad situation. I mean, this is all Twitter, so they're saying 3 to 4 months, but who knows?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the nature of the dislocation.
Yeah.
Because if it's a separated shoulder, that's usually what they call when your AC joint, which is where your collarbone meets your shoulder. And that's like the injury that AJ Styles had. That's part of the injury that Finn Balor had. That's more of a recuperation time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So if it's a dislocated shoulder, that usually means the joint itself as opposed to the AC joint.
I get the feeling that this is like one person says it and then everybody runs with it, but I see everybody saying, yeah, probably be out up to 16 weeks. So without more information, I find it difficult to believe that they're in the know about that one. Oh, here we go. Injury update. Let's see if because this is USA Today. USA Today has to have the real info here.
Do you think they'd have somebody with some medical background on staff?
Without surgery, the Mayo Clinic says the shoulder would improve over a few weeks, but if surgery is performed, full recovery can take 5 to 6 months. So it all depends on the severity. You're right. It's silly
exactly.
to speculate
and if there's
on
any
that.
accompanying soft tissue damage, because doing a basic search here says a few weeks to several months. So
yeah. So hopefully we'll get an update, or they'll just surprise us. Anyways, there's lots more to talk about on Monday Night Raw, but we do have some sponsors for the show today, Larson. And as I pull up my notes, I'm very going to slowly throw to those sponsors. So let's go ahead, Larson.
Let's do it. Let's take a break. Get a word from our sponsor, DeleteMe. Steve.
Yes.
Privacy is a huge, massive deal for me, which is one reason why it drives me absolutely crazy whenever I find out that my personal data is apparently available online. Sitting here now, I can think of several times over the years when someone has tried to use my identity to buy something. Heck, I just found out that someone is using my credit card to buy anime.
I love anime. It's awesome. But that's horrible. That's horrible for you. No, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. This is where some peace of mind for you. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. When you sign up with DeleteMe, you can tell them exactly what information you want deleted, and they'll do all the hard work of getting it all removed from data broker sites. Plus, DeleteMe isn't just a one-time service. They'll send you regular reports on what info they've found, where they found it, and what was removed.
So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for our listeners today, get 20% off your DeleteMe plan by texting RAW to 64000.
The only way to get 20% off is to text RAW to 64000. That's RAW to 64000. Message and data rates may apply.
And let's get a word from our sponsor, Cash App. So, Steve, the wife and I went out with some friends recently, and when we were paying the bill, I was thinking, what's the best way to cover my portion of the bill when someone's just going to pay for it all and we all pay them back?
Yeah, right. A check. That's what you're probably thinking. You got out your checkbook. But here's the problem, man. You got to remember last week I was telling you about Cash App. I mean, Cash App is literally an official partner of WWE and sponsored Money in the Bank. Put away that checkbook, Larson.
Well, if you'd let me finish, I was going to say, thanks to you, Steve. I had Cash App on my phone. I was able to get the money moved over super quick. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't. You never say thank you, Steve. But here's the thing. Cash App is a safe, easy, and fast way to send, receive, and transfer money to family and friends. It's also easy to get started. You just enter your phone or email and some other basic information. No bank account needed. And it's secure and safe. Like if you're about to send money to a sketchy account, a scam warning pops up.
For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code GOINGRAW in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Gunther, his big return, is the headline of the show, so we're going to talk about that first. So Gunther comes out for a promo, but first he gets a lot of pyro, and he says, at WrestleMania, a man enough to admit at WrestleMania Jey Uso was the better man. He says for one night he was the better man. Every other night I am untouchable. I know I heard the chatter about what's next for me. Definitely not that guy. I choked him out in front of his family and I learned to... Oh, so the crowd starts chanting Goldberg and he laughs and he says, ha, definitely not that guy. I choked him out in front of his family and he learned his lessons. He says, I don't care about rumors. I care about reality. Seth holds the contract and I have what he wants. So Seth, let me talk directly to you. He said, a few weeks ago, you said, when I win your title back, I'm a target. So since I'm a target, let me make it very easy for you. I'm right here. Don't waste any time. I appreciate the champions these days trying to goad the Money in the Bank winners into like, hey, let's do this face to face. And they're always like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I hope we still get that solo. He seemed too serious on SmackDown on Friday.
He did. I know. We need Goofy solo because that's top solo. So anyways, Goldberg's music hits. He's got the shirt, the Rat Fink inspired shirt, as you mentioned. So he comes to the ring, grabs a mic, says thank you to the crowd, says don't be confused, Gunther. It's all good. Tonight is your night. Tonight I'm here to celebrate you. I know how you feel, so congratulations. Just want to put a little note on tonight, how proud I am of you. One thing before I go, though, a few months ago, you started something with me and my family in Atlanta, and I'm going to make sure I end it in Atlanta, Georgia, on July 12th, Saturday night's main event. You're mine, because you're next. And I will say this, Gunther did a good job at first of when Bill was like, I'm here to celebrate you, and Gunther's like, yeah, awesome. Yeah, and as soon as it was clear that Bill was going to say, match is happening, Gunther sold that great.
Yeah, he did.
He almost did like the dry swallow, almost.
We had more King and Queen of the Ring quarterfinal matchups. Let's talk about the women first with a huge return and a huge return of a theme song. So Raquel is backstage. Liv walks up, says, you go out there and win. We'll take care of Kairi Sane. And then we get that match. We get Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Ivy Nile versus the returning Asuka. Now, I hope to God this wasn't just, they hit the wrong button and we're going to go back to her lame copycat theme song next week or this week on SmackDown, actually. Because this was such So number one, like she has, like it's just like a freshening up of her branding. You know, she has like this really sick looking mask that's new. Her font is different. Her Tron looks really good. They've updated a couple Trons. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but Io Sky's Tron is fucking awesome these days.
Yeah.
With like the giant Io Sky, like, you know, some really cool. But Asuka's Tron looks great. Big reception, big response. Crowd was like chanting "Welcome back," and then her face makeup was just. Her face paint was just awesome. Yeah. God, it looks so damn good.
And she had her original theme back.
That's kind of the thing that matters. The theme is awesome.
Which is like a top 5 wrestling theme. It's so good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's like a good song, yeah.
Yeah, it is like legitimately a good song. And I guess not a huge surprise here. Asuka gets the win in a really fun match. There's a great sequence between Asuka and Stephanie. I hope you get more of that in the near future because, gosh, that was good. So Asuka is using the running hip attack as her finish now. Rhea comes to the ringside after Raquel hits Stephanie with a Tahana bomb, pulls Raquel out of the ring, hits her with the riptide on the floor, some payback from last week, and then she rolls Raquel back in, and then Asuka hits her with the hip attack to get the win.
Also a fun side note. Stephanie Vacquer's cat is named Asuka.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So she said it. Okay. Yeah. So on Busted Open Radio back in, I want to say, April, this is according to SE Scoops, Stephanie Vacquer shared that not only is Asuka an inspiration to her in the ring, but also when it comes to naming pets, she says, her name is Asuka. My cat's name is Asuka. I'm a big fan. When I adopted my cat, I said, oh, you're so cute. So I gave her Asuka's name. Asuka responded on Twitter and said, I was so happy when I found out you named your cat after me. Seriously, that means a lot. To be honest, I've been checking out Stephanie Vacquer for a while now. Among all the fresh stars, you stood out. Something about you felt special, like you had a big future. So a lot of respect there between the two of them. But it's, and knowing this, because I saw it on Twitter, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I saw it in advance of the match. And then when you see the match, like, Vacquer just looks giddy. Yeah, there are moments where she cannot contain the smile. She's trying to be serious, and she can't contain a smile. Yeah. And it must be such a surreal, special moment for her. To where she was a year ago and where she is right now is absolutely nuts. Mm-hmm. But the bits that we got between them were a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll get to revisit that at some time.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. So afterwards, Asuka has an interview with Kathy. Asuka says, the fire didn't die. It's still alive. I'll be crowned Queen of the Ring. No one is ready for Asuka. I actually feel like Asuka's got a pretty good chance to win this, and she'll face Io at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I hope so. I thought Io was wonderful in the promo. We'll talk about that here in a second. But she is so popular, and the idea of those two in a feud with each other, oh my God. Or even just having a match at SummerSlam. Gosh darn, that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something great.
It is,
because I think you're right. I think there's a good chance Asuka wins.
So we get a quick bit backstage with Sheamus in advance of his quarterfinal match. He's warming up. Alpha Academy and Natalya walk up, wish him luck, and they're talking about Rusev, and Tozawa says, "Sheamus, kick his ass." Sheamus says, "All right, gets ready." Then we have an interview with Jay later on. He's asked about the quarterfinal match. He is mystery participant, as revealed earlier, or late last week, I guess. He says, it's very important. I beat Gunther for my first title. I got his respect. He won it back. He got my respect. As far as I take it, it's 1-1. He can look past Seth and Goldberg, but we're running it back. And if that means winning King of the Ring, so be it. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.
Yeet. Yeet.
And the main event was that qualifier, that quarterfinal match, Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed versus Rusev versus Sheamus.
This is a ton of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So much wonderful overbooking you had. Braun Breaker.
Oh, it was like the night Mankind won the title almost.
I know. It was great. You already had Heyman out there repping Bronson. You have Braun Breaker out there. You
have LA Knight, you have Sami Zayn, you have Penta.
LA Knight pushed Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker got taken out. He was trying to interfere. He got taken out by Sami Zayn. Sammy tried to go for a haluva kick, and Braun just grabbed him by the throat out of midair.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
And And then Penta takes out Braun.
Oh, and then Penta takes out Braun. Penta wearing a cool leather jacket.
Yeah.
Looking like Travolta in Grease. He took out Braun Breaker.
And then Bronson Reed hits Jay with a Death Valley driver. That's when he goes up top. That's when LA Knight comes out and pushes him off. Jay hits Bronson with the spear, and then a couple Uso splashes to get the win. He advances. So then a bunch of stuff happens. So Seth comes to the ring. He's angry. He's got his suit in Bears uniform colors, dark blue, orange, dark blue suit, orange tie.
Bay. Yeah.
And he's getting ready to throw hands. Cody's music hits. He comes down. He and Seth have a stare off. Seth leaves. And then Cody turns and sees Jay because they're the semifinal match for the King of the Ring tournament. So they eventually shake hands.
They need to drink some Yeatly before they get in that ring.
They do.
That'd probably be horribly unsafe. They don't need to do that. Oh, yeah. One thing to mention earlier about the women's quarterfinal or whatever it was, quarterfinal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was Vaquer trying to do that devil's kiss to Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And then her standing up out of it and then her not letting go and then them going and doing it on the apron was awesome.
It was great.
Continually coming up with creative shit like that is good so the move doesn't get – but I don't see that move becoming unpopular anytime soon, man.
Nope.
That shit is over.
Yep.
So we had more AJ Styles and Judgment Day. But before that, we had Liv and Dom opening the show. They come to the ring. She introduces herself and Dominic Mysterio. He gets cheered, but then when he gets on the mic, they all know to boo. Great spot to be in.
Yep.
He says, "Tonight's not about me. It's all about you, Liv. Thank you because respect is the exact reason why I came out. Everyone needs reminding that this is my." Oh, Liv saying this. "This is my division. When you talk about my division, you talk about me. You see, Nikki Bella had to learn the hard way. Now she's sitting at home all beat up watching me on TV where she should be." She says, "Worse than that, her not mentioning me is a fact. Io went up to her and said, 'You paved the way for all of us.' Wah. No one paved the way for me, especially not Nikki Bella. I forged my own way and became the history-making, record-breaking first and only 4-time women's tag team champion. So you know what that makes me? The greatest women's tag team champion of all time. I'm not asking for respect. I'm demanding it, just like I'm demanding the rematch I never got. The women's world title. So Io, we could do this the easy way or the hard way." So that brings out Io Sky. Huge pop.
Oh, yeah.
She says, "Hey, Liv, do everybody a favor. Shut your mouth. All you do is whine and show disrespect. You disrespected Nikki Bella and me. If you want to fight me, I'm right here." So Liv and Dom try to tell Io that she just needs to hand the title over. Eventually, Io's like, "Yeah, okay." So she gives it over to Liv, but then drop kicks her, and then she celebrates.
Yeah.
So later on, Judgment Day's backstage. Raquel is icing up because she took a pretty big beating during that match. Liv walks in. She's like, "Hey, come on, we got to go strategize. You're with me." She's like, medical hasn't cleared me to do anything. So she's like, "Fine." Walks off. Dom's there. JD asks Dom. He's like, "Dude, why did you put me in a match with AJ Styles when I already told you me and Finn are going after the tag titles?" And he's like, "Listen, man, AJ Styles has his eyes on my Intercontinental Championship. Finn didn't take care of him. I need you to, and you can get back to the tag titles in a couple weeks. I promise." And Finn's like, "Listen, JD, I'll go out there with you." And Dom big dogs him. Big dogs him. And is like, "Dude, I don't think it's a good idea for you to go out there because you tried to take care of AJ Styles before. You couldn't get the job done." And he's like, "All right, fine. Well, you go ahead and go out there." So he does. And then he tries to talk up Raquel. She gives him a smile, but then a side eye when he's not looking.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, "Roxanne, let's go talk about some stuff." So,
yep. So then we had JD versus AJ. Commentary was relentless in mentioning JD's giant head.
Like him to a Minecraft character.
Yeah. Yep.
He does have a big head.
Yeah. Anyways, AJ, not surprisingly, won this match with a Styles clash. So JD's looking for Devil Inside, but then AJ puts the brakes on that. Styles clash, gets the W. Afterwards, Dom hits the ring, tries to hit AJ with the Intercontinental title. AJ avoids that, hits a Pele kick. He's looking for a phenomenal form, but Finn runs down and pulls Dom out of the ring. AJ grabs the Intercontinental title and leaves with it. Later on, AJ walks up and Nick Aldis. Nick's like, thank you for giving me the belt back so quickly, but you know what? You get a chance to hold this for realsies because you get a title match at Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, as we mentioned, Liv Morgan had a match against Kairi Sane in basically the first spot.
Yeah.
Liv takes the bump, dislocates her shoulder. She immediately rolls out of the ring, holds her arm. Medical checks on her. Ref throws out the match. Kairi gets the win. And then later on, Cole says that Liv suffered a dislocated shoulder. We had a pretty lengthy segment between Becky and Bayley out in the ring. We see Becky walking backstage. In the background, New Day is there with Waller and Theory, and they're all Waller and Theory yelling at each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then Bayley makes her entrance. She says, "Ding dong, Green Bay. It's amazing to be back. I miss you so much. You know what they say, you don't know what you have until it's gone, but when I stand here, I know exactly what I have, and I take nothing for granted because every time I stand here in front of you, I revel in it. It's what I was born to do."
This is a lot.
It is a lot. So she talks
a lot, and I'll be honest, like it was long and it was kind of meandering and it was sort of lifeless, Like Bayley's really good as a bad guy. I don't know if she's ever really, like, besides when she got kicked out of Damage Control, I thought she made a pretty effective good guy. Like, it's sort of hit and miss when she's a good guy. But if you don't give her a lot to work with, it's just going to feel kind of lifeless. And Lyra and Becky found it. And I think towards the end of this entire promo with Becky, Bayley was starting to find it. But just going out there and like talk.
Well, I mean, also too, it's more kind of broad, macro level stuff. Oh, I do this. Some people do this for the championships or the spotlight or whatever. I do this for you, for the fans,
Yeah, we've had too many of those.
I know.
Those kind of promos are just, I don't know why they're still... Characters need more motivation than just, I do this for all of you. It's the fakest motivation, Just cop to it. I love the thrill. I like the adrenaline of having people cheer for me. That's like the same thing, but it's kind of different because it's like I'm fighting for every single one. No, we all fight for us. We all do what we do for us,
Mm-hmm.
Or if we have families, for our family. But like, I don't know. It's something that I've heard. It is kind of a thing where Triple H has a bit of a difficult time booking baby faces to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Bayley's bit culminates with saying, "Becky, you think taking me out at Mania hurt me or broke me? No, it healed me. It made me better. It made me stronger. I may have said in the past how much it bothers me, how much you were a chip on my shoulder, always 2 steps ahead. That ate at me. But you know what? I'm climbing the ladder and coming back for you, knocking you down and taking everything you took from me. So you better get your ass out here now." So Becky does come to the ring. She's got a Bears jacket, Bears shirt, Bears pants because they're in Green Bay. And this goes on quite a bit back and forth. Becky says, "I've always been a chip on your shoulder. We're the same. We were never meant to be at the top. But you were fine being second fiddle, but I wasn't." So Becky says, "You'd much rather have friends than a legacy. I would always prefer a legacy than some fake-ass friends." Bayley says, "I already have a legacy. I'm a future Hall of Famer. And I'm confident in my legacy enough that I don't mind bringing people along with me." And Becky says, I used to think that way too, but then they stopped fighting for me, so I stopped fighting for them. They stopped fighting for you too when I took you out and placed you, and no one gave a damn about you. No one cared. They all cheered for me," which was a good point.
It was very true, yeah.
Yeah. Becky says, "You're such an idiot. You're so insecure." Oh, sorry, Bayley says this. "You worry so much about what they think, and you took a whole year off and didn't know if they would boo or cheer for you, so you had to take me out. You didn't know if they would care if you came back. You had to be a surprise. 24 hours later, it didn't sit right, and you had to take out Lyra because you couldn't hack it if they were going to boo you." She says, "Do you remember what it feels like to fight for everything or an opportunity? Do you remember that? Or is your head too far up your ass? You just don't know anymore." And Becky says, "No, I don't. Do you remember what gold feels like?"
Yeah, Becky's good in this role. Like
Yeah.
this version of Becky is actually a really good heel stuff here.
Yeah. So Bailey says, "And I don't, but remind me. Step up to me. Let's have a match." And Becky says, we can have a match, but not tonight in Green Bay, and not for my title. I'll see you in Columbus next week." So Becky tries to hit Bailey with the cheap shot. Bailey avoids that, drops Becky. So later on, Bailey's backstage, walks up to Aldis, and says you were denied your title match at Mania. So not only do we get a match against Becky next week in Columbus, it's going to be for the Intercontinental title. So he leaves. Lyra walks up and says, "Welcome back and congrats." And Bailey says, "Thanks. Sorry, I never got back to you. I never got back to anyone." And Lyra says, "Well, if you do what's best for you, I'll do what's best for me if you win."
That's like the most interesting thing about this feud is the Lyra factor. You know, it's like, what's your deal?
Yeah.
And I like that Bailey doesn't play it straight up like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, nah, I don't really care that you're put off by this and you're in the middle of something with her. I'm ready to come back, and I'm just going to do this now. Mm-hmm. Not going to wait for anybody. And that adds a cool wrinkle to it.
It does. It adds some complexity to it. And then finally here, it's a pretty breezy Raw, I guess.
There's a lot of wrestling. Like, the matches are pretty long. They were fun matches, too.
Yeah. So finally, seems like we might get a proper feud with Karrion Kross. So Kathy's backstage with Sami Zayn. She asks him about his match on Friday. And Sami says, "I feel like I've talked about the world title so much recently and how the opportunity is there. So I've had the opportunity a few times before, but this time feels different." And then you hear Karrion Kross say, "This is so disturbing. It feels different. There's nothing different. You're insane, right? You do the same thing every day expecting a different result. Let me explain what's going to happen. You're going to go to SmackDown against a diabolical man who knows how to win, Randy Orton. Then you're going to lose, and he'll become a 15-time champion, and you're going to stay at 0. Sami says, "I'm crazy? I think you're a coward. You hide back here and talk and hide in the shadows. Why? You don't go out there because all the big talk you have back here, you can't back it up in the ring. And maybe you can't go out there and fail. I've had the courage to fail and pick myself up and go out and do it again. Can you do the same? I thought so. I'm done with you. My focus now is on King of the Ring, but the second that's done, I'm going to Adam Pearce, and we're going to have this match once and for all." And for this whole time Sami's talking, it looks like Kross is just fuming. He's upset. But once the challenge for a match was there, Kross smiles and says, "It's about time."
Yeah, finally gets a match on Raw. The amount of interaction he's had with Sami, like, Sami has to go like mega heel at this point, because when Kross talks to anybody, they end up going heel. Like, you think the more they talk to them, the more heelish they get.
Yeah, he was talking to New Day for months.
He was talking to New Day for a while. Yeah, look at them. Would you like to answer some questions?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. Oh, man, only 13. John and Alistair Voice says, "You both get a free vacation with 2 wrestlers. Which vacation do you pick, and which wrestlers do you choose to accompany you?" Do I have to take the wrestlers?
Yeah. It's a good vacation.
Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I've seen like their social media. They have like a car that drives on water.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a good answer.
How about this? What if we pick the wrestlers for the other person?
Okay.
I'm going to choose for you Solo and JC Mateo.
Oh, gosh. We stay at like some all-inclusive place. Yeah, I'm at the buffet.
Yeah.
Picking some stuff up off the table, and Solo's like, "You really gonna eat that?
You gonna eat that?" And then he just takes your plate from you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, who are you gonna choose for me?
Let's do for Steve. Theory and Waller.
Oh, come on, man. That's horrible. That's not even fun. At least Solo would be funny to observe. Damn, you got me on that one.
How about this? Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh, they're boring. God, you're making it worse now. You're making it worse.
Los Garza.
Yeah, now you're talking, man. To be their wingman, holy shit. Those are some good-looking dudes right there. Oh, by the way, shout out to the friendo on the Reddit juice. Number one, Triple Mania is on. Somebody told me this. Bobcat Louie said that Triple Mania is on AAA's YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
And then also one of the. I didn't get that far. I just said, dude, thanks. But I didn't go and check it out myself yet. I was planning on doing that soon. But then also Existing Scale 5834 on Reddit posted on the WrestleJuice subreddit, Reddit Juice, the finishing sequence to the Los Garzas match.
Oh, and
sure enough, oh my God, who do they drop? Who is this? Who'd they beat? Who is this? I'm trying to see. Is that wait? Nope. The Clowns do a big suicide dive. And then, I don't know who that is. The Garzas raise Forastero? Yeah, I don't know who that is.
All right.
Anyways. Yeah, they used their finish. It was awesome.
Colby Cole says, if you guys took on a Mr. Iguana type character, what animal would you be? If you were to embody the spirit of an animal.
La rata. Be a rat. And I'd be like snitching on everybody. But wow. I'd also be like human and rat combined.
I mean, I guess I'd be a snake. And then my yeah, gear would look like Snake Man from Dreamscape.
Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, yeah, Forastero. This is a stupid question, but what does Forastero mean? And is there like a... in English? Stranger. Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Forastero.
Alex Foster says, if you were wrestlers, who's a main eventer you would always beat, and who's a lower card wrestler who would always beat you? Like he just had somebody's
that's a great
number
question.
In the main event.
Who would always have your number? I would say this. Akira Tozawa would always have my number.
I thought about
because he's small and really quick, and I'm slow and lumbering.
All right, so what main eventer would you be able to best?
Jey Uso, because I'm funny, and he'd be cracking up the whole time.
Okay.
I'd make him laugh and take advantage, because he'd always used to break when Sammy would say shit.
Yeah. Lower card wrestler.
You got, let's see, lower card wrestlers. J.D. McDonough, Karrion Kross, Tyler Bate.
Oh, Kross would probably beat me. Yeah, Kross would destroy me.
Kross would have your number?
Yeah.
He did the mind games, right?
Yeah, no, I'm yeah. I have a bit of a weak mind, so.
I was wondering what you were going to say there. I'm prone to bouts of crying.
Yeah, I'm pretty gullible. Yeah.
Easily manipulative.
Probably pretty easy to manipulate.
Yeah. And then what main eventer would you have their number?
I'll say this. I'll say Roman Reigns, and here's why.
Wow.
After the mind games from Kross, and after I'm done crying because of those, I'll reflect and then use those mind games on Roman.
Yeah, he's very sensitive.
Yes.
He's very sensitive. Yeah.
He's driven by insecurity.
I like it. And these days he's on I'm going to put everybody over Roman mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. J Fo Cap says, who's your favorite movie character?
Gosh.
Mine's Biff Tannen. I've never seen anybody that extreme in real life. He's a very extreme character.
I don't know if this is my favorite, but this first character that popped in my head is the Dude.
Oh, the Dude's great.
The Dude.
The Dude's great. That's good.
Miko here says, in kayfabe, do older finishing moves like DDT, lariat, etc. not in matches anymore because A, wrestlers understand how to absorb the move better, B, the art of how to deliver it with maximum pain has been lost. I think it's partially B, but certain people know how to deliver those old finishing moves with maximum impact.
Yeah. I think that also as time progresses, people figure out how to mitigate the impact of big moves. For example, if you put Allen Iverson in a basketball game in like the 1940s, you'd have so many broken ankles. They don't know how to deal with the crossover. No clue.
Everybody in the 40s dribbled with their right hand.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
There were no crossovers.
And they do the weird shooting like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like similarly in the world of pro wrestling, people just figure out how to take shit. You know?
With basketball in mind, Jonah here asked, power rank top 5 moments of Steven Larson on the b-ball court.
Top 5 moments. Oh, dude, one was the other day. Because I've been training from the book of Joker, Nikola Jokic. And I got my spot beyond the 3-point line where I just stop and I let you get up on me, and somehow, some way, I'm able to just chuck it and it goes in. And so the other day, you run up on me and you realize what because I've done this a couple times. You realize what I'm doing and you look at me with this look like, fuck you, bro. You're not gonna make a fool of me again. You're just gonna hit this or you're not, but I'm not gonna be involved in it.
Nope.
That made me chuckle quite a bit. I'll just give you guys one. You can do one.
The other day when you finally gave in to your anger and frustration and punted the basketball.
Yeah, dude. I don't do that very often. You're more known for having a bit of a hot head on the court, but it feels incredibly good.
It's very cathartic.
I understand why you do it. And boy, I was impressed with my punting ability. I was really impressed. Because like it hit the tree that like there's like a huge tree situation above some bleachers where we play, and like a giant branch came falling off because I hit it with such force. That was impressive.
I remember the branch falling off.
You don't remember that? No, it did. It went. I was like, holy shit, my bad. I think you just had your head down because you're like, you just gotta let him do it.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what I do when I know you're steamed.
Let you get out of your system.
I just put my head down. I go walk over there. People think we like shit talk, but we don't. No. We're very respectful of we don't. When the other person eats a loss.
Any sort of shit talk is done very much tongue in cheek.
It's all in good fun. Yeah, when like the game's not on the line and shit, we're having a good time.
Tybor here asks, what are your thoughts on the WWE way of having tournaments recently with the use of multi-man matches rather than straight up one-on-one matches? I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like it.
I like mixing it up a little bit. You don't like the mix up? I like the mix up.
Because effectively, it just feels like the King of the Ring tournament's really just 2 rounds long. Semi-final and final.
King of the Ring is a little bit different. If they were to be like, hey, we're going to have a tournament to determine a new number 1 contender, but it's not called King of the Ring, and this is how we're going to do it, then like it's, okay, cool. Do whatever you want to do. You want to do a bunch of fatal 4-ways, 5-ways, 6-pack challenges, whatever. But I feel you with King of the Ring. It's like, well, you've established that it's a one-on-one situation. Yeah, I can feel that.
Like the multi-man matches for qualifiers for Money in the Bank, sure.
That
makes sense. But I feel like a tournament like King of the Ring, where it's like, hey, this is determined essentially the best wrestler now. It should be one-on-one matches.
Yeah. Dave Matuszek says, with Liv Morgan out injured, do you fear that Nikki Bella's return match may be altered to someone else or at worst canceled? I'd be surprised they didn't give it to Roxanne Perez. Because at least there's a story there, you know?
But hopefully Liv can recover in time for her, because that's it's less than a month away.
Yeah.
Nate Cruz asked, does Gunther as a character work without a title at all? It feels like he's not actively looking to get his hands on a title he doesn't really have anything to do. We've never really seen him in that situation, though.
No need to worry about that. Hey, no need to worry about that.
Because even after he lost the Intercontinental title, he's off TV. Guess what? He's trying to win King of the Ring.
He's looking to be, a 90% champion guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good goal to have for him.
Yeah.
AJ Otani says, if you could design a collab of any wrestler and any sports team, who would you choose? Judgment Day and the Sacramento Kings.
That works.
It's purple and purple.
That works.
Like OG Judgment Day. Because
Yeah.
now I think they're just like black and white.
Trying to think of something with Motor City Machine Guns.
Well, obviously the Pistons.
Yeah, Detroit Pistons. Yeah, that'd work.
I mean, that'd be actually kind of cool if you do like a hand with a thing pointing to it. The front of the thing.
Yeah. Greg Morris here asked, do you no longer believe Sammy is winning King of the Ring?
Brother, I don't know.
I'll say this. If they're planning on him to win the Rumble, he's probably not going to win King of the Ring.
Oh, I agree with that. And I think you have a good point. You made this the other day. I think that Sammy might win that Rumble. I think that's a good point.
If Sammy wins King of the Ring, I'd be surprised if he won the Rumble. Luis here says, are there any movies that you love to turn off your brain for? Yeah, there's a lot of like silly 80s comedies that I'll watch. Just
not Weekend at Bernie's though, right?
No, that movie's not funny.
Any movies that I like to? I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to think of some. Like, I mean, yeah, they're really funny, but like, you know, Adam Sandler's early movies, you know, Ace Ventura 2 was like one of my favorite comedies. And that's one of those movies that you just, it's not even terribly clever. It's just so blunt force comedy, but Jim Carrey was fucking hilarious back then. So I'm cool. Turning my brain off.
Are you going to watch the new Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I'll watch that. It's probably pretty decent. Like the trailer looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm down for that.
What about the new Naked Gun movie? You going to watch that?
Oh my God, that looks fucking funny.
Yeah, it does.
That legitimately looks fun. That trailer is hilarious. Yeah, and Cody's in it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see here. Javier says, did Goldberg's return show the disconnect between the IWC fans and in real life fans? Yeah, he's definitely one of them that like, oh, the crowd's always going to pop for him.
Yeah.
But the internet wrestling community are always going to be like, oh, God, look at him.
Yeah.
We don't need this guy back.
Josh M. here asks, do you think Goldberg knocks himself out before Gunther makes him pass out?
Ideally. I really want this to be like a safe train wreck. Like, nobody gets hurt. You know, they don't even try a jackhammer suplex. But, like, it's just a mess. You know, like Goldberg gets in. Maybe he tries to hop over the ropes. Quad goes, well, no, that's messed up, though. I don't want his quads to fall off.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt.
It's kind of the concern, though. He's so old. You see him walk around. It's like, damn, dude.
Well, especially with him saying that he's hurt himself a couple times training for this match. Doesn't bode well.
Yeah, dude. I don't think there's a really great way to simulate, like, actual match happening, you know?
No, unless like it's all mat-based.
You can get, well, yeah, right.
But that's never been Goldberg's forte.
Remember when he tried to do that shit?
Yeah.
Didn't work out very well.
Yeah, it didn't work out well at all.
He should be having a match with William Regal. That's the match everybody wants to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or go to MLW and take on Matt Riddle. They should have done that match. Let's see here. Oh, Nash Kell says, does Saturday night's main event seem too small a show for Goldberg's last match? Over one at perhaps a 2-night SummerSlam. Well, if they do what you're talking about, maybe he'll get that SummerSlam.
Yeah, they can kind of have their cake and eat it too. I thought that Saturday night's main event seems maybe too small of a stage for Goldberg's retirement match, especially with SummerSlam just a couple weeks, 3 weeks later. But if the primary importance for Goldberg is to be able to have his last match in his hometown in front of his family and friends, and that supersedes everything else for him, then that makes sense.
Yeah,
if that's what he really wants for his last match, is to have it in Atlanta, in front of his family, in his hometown, so be it, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went with your option, though. Because, it's not like he's coming out and being like, this is my last one, unless they set it up over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could totally see that being the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
and it gives Seth, I mean, if they do Seth, it gives him something to do with SummerSlam.
I don't even like putting this out there.
Uh-oh.
No, that really wouldn't make sense. I was going to say if by some... They kind of have a repeat of what Goldberg and Brock did years back, where Goldberg beat Brock at first. They had the rematch at Mania. Brock beat him. They give Goldberg the win in his hometown. And then Gunther gets it back at SummerSlam. And that's when the stipulation is. But why would Goldberg put up his career to defend the title? Doesn't make any sense. Unless, like he says, "Oh, I'm so confident I can beat you again, and if I lose, I'll retire."
Man, they didn't say anything about the title last night.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
What did he say?
He said, "Hold on, let me scroll up." Oh,
did I miss that part?
No, I guess he didn't.
Thought his promo was pretty short, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is how proud I am. One thing before I go, a few months ago, you started something with me and my family in Atlanta. I'm going to make sure I end it. You're next. So I guess he didn't specifically say the title. No.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I think the title's probably going to be on the line. But they also didn't specifically, like on the advertisement for it, it's just Goldberg. And it's a really cool image. Goldberg and then like some pyro. And then it just says like, what it said something. Where is it?
Unless Goldberg wins the non-title match, and he's like, "No, I want a title match." And Gunther's like, "Well, if the only way you're gonna get
I hope they don't. I hope they don't make this an eliminator match. That's horrible.
Yeah,
don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Yeah, here it is. There's a tagline: "No one spared, everyone speared." Okay, no, it does. Okay, so on their social, it does say Goldberg versus Gunther World Heavyweight Championship.
All right.
So, I figured it would be. It'd be silly if it wasn't.
Yeah, it would be silly.
But yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, you get your cake and eat it too, right? You get your big Atlanta thing. Boy, that's scary because he could win.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That title is like hey, let's pop the crowd title.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not like 100%. And if one of the primary motivators to have Gunther beat Jay, as I can't remember who reported it, was so the title was on the line, the Goldberg match.
If he wins, is it going to be by like a couple spears, or is there going to be a jackhammer suplex?
Yeah, I don't think he really should be trying to do the jackhammer anymore. So like 5 spears.
Okay. Seth distracts. Spear.
Maybe.
Oh, wow. Jesus. How old is he? Like 58? Something like that?
I don't know. He might be in his 60s by this point.
No way. Goldberg is 50.
58.
Holy shit, look at me. 58, wow. Looks great for 58, Jesus.
Almost 60. Yep.
Yeah, man.
All right, I think that's all the questions I got.
All right, well, that's going to do it for... that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll be back with our hot takes. Till next time, see you guys around.
Goodbye.